Yes, sir. Another week Feel the Burn podcast here to fill you in on all things sports in the Phoenix area. A lot to cover today. A lot has been going on in the Phoenix area, specifically as far as sports go. The Cardinals off-season news seems like to be another headline every week. We will begin with that. The Suns, Kevin Durant making his debut. Him and Booker look amazing together. We will definitely touch on those things. Arizona Diamondbacks spring training in full effect. Looks worrisome. However, it's a little too early to tell. And also, the madness is real in March with the Pac-12 basketball. Let's start off with some Cardinals talk. Jacob, our Cardinals insider, what you got rolling for us this week?
Um, Not good news necessarily. We have the NFLPA releasing some report cards for teams, and it's probably not something they would want to turn into their parents. They got an F for treatment of treatment of families. They didn't specify what that exactly meant. I'm not sure how you receive an F in that category, but they did. An F for food and service nutrition, F minus in weight room, an F minus in training room, an F in locker room. One of the things they said, if players would like dinner, it would be boxed up for them, but players reported that the team will charge you via payroll deduction. This is the only team apparently that does this. I've never heard of that, charging to box up your meals. Players reported that if you work out at the facility after the season is over, the team charges you for every meal eaten at the facility. They are, again, the only team that does this. That's sad. You want to keep players around, and you have this whole DeAndre Hopkins things going on where he's like kind of saying he wants a trade, but when you're getting, this was 1,300 players that they surveyed, and the majority of the NFL is saying that the Cardinals were one of the worst teams when it comes to facilities. Who's going to want to play there? You just held a Super Bowl. Obviously, you got something going with the whole Westgate area, Phoenix booming, and you can't upgrade your facilities. It's a horrible look on Michael Bidwell. Makes him look extremely cheap, and it's a bad look for players who are, looking to maybe wanting to go play with the Cardinals, and they look at this and they go, why would I want to pay for my own meal out of my payroll? So overall, just not a good look.
Yeah, it must be something with like charging families to come or something weird about the families thing that stood out
Yeah.
to me. And it definitely is weird to charge your players to eat while they're working out to be better, to better the team. Um, and yeah, the Super Bowl, it is a beautiful stadium from the outside. And I went to one game a few years back there, and it's beautiful. It's just it's sad that the players have I don't know the word, but I guess they have the downgraded side of the stadium where the fans get the better experience.
Yeah, so another one, only 30% of players believe there was enough space in the locker room. Talking about the weight room, the floors were uneven and floorboards were peeling up. Players reportedly said that the weight room was a safety risk just walking inside. And
Sounds
it's
like a
interesting
hospital.
because I've never heard anything about this. It wasn't until the Super Bowl where people started kind of discussing like the facilities weren't that nice, but there was nothing to this extent. And now we're hearing all this, and now, it's almost, this is going to unleash a whole new wave of allegations and stuff. This opens the doors for players to start speaking out about it.
No, I definitely agree, man. When you think about Phoenix, it's a pretty new arena as far as NFL goes. They have the retractable roof, the real grass. On paper, it seems like a beautiful place to play. It is crazy that this is all coming out now to light, and we've literally, like you said, never heard one report of any player complaining about it. And if it's this bad, it made me think just now while you was talking, maybe some of these on-field injuries are stemmed from workout room strains or something on their
Yep.
legs. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a stretch there, but it's definitely crazy that one of the most injured teams in the league has one of the worst facilities now
Yeah.
coming out.
No,
Yeah,
I don't think it's a
it's
stretch. You're seeing a big rise of talk and just like sports science, sports medicine, getting your players healthy because we're seeing an uptake of injuries to a level we've been seeing before, and especially with the Cardinals, and they're the second most injured team in the NFL. That starts in the weight room. That starts stretching, conditioning, all of that over the offseason. And if your facility isn't up to date, then that's where your problems are going to stem from.
I wonder if that had anything to do with some of the coaches that came and took a tour and interviewed and just looked around and was like,
I think it did
Very
with,
plausible.
I think Sean Payne, it might have played a little bit of a deal there.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, man, the crazy part is that the same issue that Michael Bidwill has is the same issue that Robert Sarver had. You're in Phoenix. It's ideally a destination that a lot of people want to come play at. I mean, like Rowan alluded to, the atmosphere, everything there is to do around there, the weather. It's somewhere people want to come play. But when you have people at the top who simply just don't know how to navigate that, I mean, it's a turnoff. Kind of like Rowan just said too. He kind of said it in a little bit there with the weight rooms. That's there are D1 colleges out here that more than likely, if we were to actually see like videos and pictures of the Cardinals weight room, there's D1 colleges out here that probably have a better weight room than an NFL weight room, which says a lot. I mean, it does. It says a lot. You're talking about the pros, and when you're talking about a team like Jacob is saying that kind of is struggling to find the next pieces of personnel that want to come there. There's a lot of positions that we went over a ton of times that need fixing. And if you're speaking from a free agent perspective, that probably didn't do any good. But also on top of that, there's probably a ton of players out there that already knew this stuff, obviously, and it's just coming to light now. So for the rest of the world, we're just connecting the dots like, okay, this makes a lot of sense now. But for the players that haven't been coming there, I mean, it's something that may be minor, but at the same time, it's like one extra reason as to why they're not coming there, for all the other reasons, that they probably haven't. And the same thing for coaching. So definitely a head scratcher.
yeah,
And
they
it's
build
not
this.
as if they don't have money. They're selling out tickets, whether it be to the opposing team or them. State Farm Stadium, their attendance is not bad. Around it is generating massive amounts of income. That whole Westgate Entertainment District is massive, and it's a nice area. You could see it 2 off seasons ago. They went out spending. It seemed like they got this money out of nowhere, but they got James Conner, they got Zach Ertz, J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins. They gave Kyler Murray $230 million. Like, I don't think if you can give him that much money, I think you can upgrade your weight room.
Yeah, it's probably less than $1 million to get it to standards. The other thing is crazy that they have this stadium. It's about 45 minutes, 50 minutes with no traffic. With traffic, it's usually about an hour and a half drive for actual Phoenicians in the city limits of Phoenix to drive to see a game. And they used to play in Tempe, right in the heart of the city. So the fact that they moved all the way out here to have this new shiny stadium and standards are not being met for any NFL player. I wonder what the new coaching regime is going to do, or the new GM, or if anybody's going to put their foot down and just try and get this right, because it is a lot of the talk of the league for us to have this many Fs.
I mean, just for someone to address it, I think just a simple Jonathan Gannon announcing, we saw it and we're going to work on that. I doubt they will. I don't think it will be anything that will ever be brought up by the coaches, unless they're asked during a press conference or something. But I think they have the tools. It's not like it's that hard. You're an NFL team. You're not lacking for money over there. You're not a poverty franchise. So you got some money.
I think the hope is with them rehauling like they have. I mean, obviously, this report is something that came out from players' overall perspective over the last, year or last season. And I think the overall hope is that with them rehauling as much as they have, maybe getting new faces in there, new people that can, give that, new sense of, direction. Hopefully it is something they do change. Like Jacob said, I highly doubt you'll hear. They may get asked about it, but it probably won't. You won't get a pretty big in-depth answer about it. It'll probably just be. Yeah, it'll probably be we're addressing that, and they'll leave it at that. It's probably not going to be something, but I mean, once again, that's probably a pretty big question mark on a lot of free agents coming in. Is I'm looking at these floors and everything else, and this is reminding me of high school, and I thought this was a professional team. So, yeah.
I wonder if any other players, when it's like a C, but you don't like the owner, it turns into a F. Or if you do like
Yeah,
the owner, it stays a B or a C. I wonder if this has anything to do with just the way that the team's been making moves the last half a decade or so. And some of these players are finally just getting fed up with being charged for meals and the way their families treated.
I think definitely. I think to receive an F and weight room facility, it can't be that bad. I think it
Yeah,
has something
that's
else to do with the front office and just players being annoyed with how things are being ran. Um, I get there's probably, there was stuff going on, but you don't receive that many Fs with having some deep, not hatred, but you're starting to get pretty annoyed with how things are going down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think if you think about it, even with them having the Hard Knock show this season, I mean, you got somewhat of a not a really super duper in depth look into those type of places, but you did get an overall feel. I mean, the Cardinals themselves had to be pretty confident. With how that correlates. They had to you have to be pretty confident to have camera crews and
Yep.
all these other people coming in and all through your facility because they're rolling everything, they're filming everything. So I think at that point it's just a disconnect of what you think it should be versus what it is. So yeah, it's bad.
Yes, sir. Yeah. The Cardinals, man, it seems like a new headline every week with them. And it's not looking good, man. You got Murray's injury, all the different coaching stuff, and then now the report card coming out. Let's move on to a lighter note in the city of Phoenix. Kevin Durant making his debut last night, and it was a beautiful one. One of the things that stood out to me the most was his efficiency, shooting 10 for 15 from the floor, 2 for 4 from beyond the arc. Franklin, you just jumped in. What you thinking on Durant? And then we can run it to Chris and around the horn.
Yep. Sorry guys for being late, first of all. But if anything, I think it's a great thing for the city of Phoenix to have a superstar like this on our team. And the beauty of it is like KD is one of those players where he doesn't need the ball all the time to be very effective in the game. Like you can have Chris Paul and D Book be, the guys that control the flow of the tempo. Of how the terms of pin downs, in terms of just like how you run the offense, and KD can still get you 20 points by just sleepwalking. It's
Being there.
insane what he can do, from mid range shooting to slashing. And another great note for you, Rowan, his defense looked really, really impressive last night.
Get some blocks.
He had some blocks there
Couple
early.
blocks.
He has some blocks there early. I mean, it's early.
Good Hornets team to under.
It's the Hornets. It's the Hornets. I understand. It's the Hornets. But
Two things I have to say about that real quick, and then you
Yeah.
can keep going. I was gonna say one of the big things to watch for is because of the perimeter defense being traded for offense. DeAndre Ayton got in some foul trouble last night, and it will be something to watch in the playoffs as him being the sole rim protector, trying to have these guys back. And it is the Charlotte Hornets without their superstar LaMelo Ball. However, I was impressed, man.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing to watch. It's only going to continue to grow. I think Devin Booker's game, I saw a little bit of. He looked a little like very, like really ready to go. Just to like,
Yeah.
it's almost as if he was like, oh, I'm like, dang, I want to show KD what I got in my toolbox. Like it was like he was really amped. You could tell from the game. There's a couple plays that actually kind of remind me of what KD would do, whether it was like sprint up the court, pull up from three, mid-range jumpers, the whole bit. It was really impressive to watch the whole team just play with such a sense of urgency. And I think it's gonna just bode well. It's still early. I don't want to go as early as say we're gonna crown them all. They're gonna come out the West. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. It's still a process. There's gonna be games where they're gonna struggle. There's gonna be like, oh my God, what's wrong with the Suns? It's all about just little entities of the season. And I think one of the great things that Monty said in reference to KD was he doesn't have to be this leader that everybody's trying to claim him to be to lead this team to a championship. He just has to be himself. And who KD is as a basketball player is he is a bucket. And he showed that yesterday in limited minutes. So it's a great thing for Suns fans. All they got to do, in my opinion, is stay healthy and continue to build chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of back off of Franklin, I mean, it's like, where do you begin? I saw something last night where somebody said the fact that, and it's like love or hate KD, but when I saw that, they said the fact that he's on his fourth team and you can pretty much plug him in, he's literally pretty much anybody younger favorite basketball player that you may have right now. He's probably their favorite basketball player. I mean, it's just what it is. Ended the night plus 13 from the floor. I mean, the list goes on. Was able to, just kind of get in seamlessly, hit his normal mid-range jump shots, hit the threes occasionally. And Booker and him both look good. And the thing that I wanted to touch on, too, a lot of people were focusing on Booker dropping a 30-piece, which was great. Don't get me wrong. Booker had 5 assists in the first quarter alone. And that's not something out of normality for him lately. Like, he's averaging, before last night, he was averaging like 6.2 assists per game for the last 5 games. That's nothing to slight at. I mean, the fact that he's becoming more of a playmaker, man, that's so deadly. I mean, that's so deadly. And you see Ayton still being able to put up a double-double, 16 points, 16 rebounds. I mean, man, like you said, you don't want to get the big head about them, but, I mean, they're doing it and they're still trying to figure out in the bench pieces. They're still trying to figure out how do they fit T.J. Warren in there who can still be really effective, how to fit Terrence Ross in there who they just got. They can be something serious, man. I think the one complaint I had last night, which really wasn't a complaint, was just Cameron Payne trying to play hero ball a couple of times with those threes, and I was
He's a little too
shouting at my
antsy.
screen.
He's a little too
Every time
excited.
he launched one, I was like, look, he thinks he's him right now. He thinks he's him. He's not him. Like, you're not him, man. Like, and Cameron Payne, you got to love him, but it's like, man, when you got KD in there now and you got Book and both of them are cooking, you got to take a step back, man. It's not hero ball time anymore. Like, let the big dogs eat. And
Just get the ball to KD and D Book and get out the way. That's what that is.
Exactly.
Yeah, Chris Paul, I mean, he dropped 11 assists, even though he was only 0-8 from the field, but it felt like nobody even noticed that he only had 2 points.
Yeah, he was off with the mid-range yesterday.
But you know, it's
he was trying to
weird.
shoot.
It's like
he tried to shoot a couple threes too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think he was
exactly.
kind
He
of
tried to
on
shoot a
Booker
couple threes.
time. Both of them were like really aggressive. Both of them were really like excited. They said that after the game, Aiden and Booker were like, it was fun. And I think Chris Paul was trying to do that too, but it just wasn't his night. And but I mean, man, and once again, like Rowan said, it was against the Hornets. But I think you were still sitting there watching them, and like they could probably do this against pretty much any team out there. And like you said, they're going to have their nights, but we got less than 25 games? What is it, 22 now? 21?
Shoot, I think we're out. Honestly, I think they only have like 19 or 18.
Are we in the teens?
Yeah, it's 19.
Yeah, it's less
We're
than 20 right now.
Fourth place, 2 wins, not 2 games, but 2 wins behind the Kings for third place. I mean, the West is ugly, tight, but I mean, I got some confidence in them. I really do think they'll if they don't at least get to the Western Conference Finals, and it has to be like a Game 6, Game 7 type thing where they're put out of it, people are going to be disappointed. I mean, if they keep doing what they did last night, and once again, it's the Hornets, didn't have Melo, but yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah. So Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, 70 points on 31-48. Rest of the team, 27 points on 10 of 36 shooting. That was my only concern. The bench looked horrible. I think at one point the Hornets cut the lead down to 6. I won't say horrible, but it was kind of just like, you take out your starters and all of a sudden the lead started dissipating, and it was you had to put KD or Booker back in there, and then the lead was back up to 10-12. That was kind of a concern. That's a big concern for a lot of people, is whether they have the depth. So I think that was the one thing. I think the other thing we have to talk about is the Warriors. I was just looking at the standings. Clippers have lost 3 in a row. Mavs have lost 2 in a row. Pelicans without Zion look horrible, and the Warriors are creeping up there. And that's a team. Warriors, Suns. Anything in the playoffs is what the 4 and 5 seed. In the first round, I think that's a team that the Suns have got to start.
Crazy first
that's going to be an
round,
issue of a team.
Hey, let me tell you about
And
the
as they're
first round
creeping
real
up
quick.
without Curry, when they get Curry back, that's going to be a scary team.
Man, and the fact that the Warriors are doing, and it's not trying to pick on them, but the Warriors are kind of doing what the Lakers wanted to be doing right now. Like they thought they would be able to be in that mix, and it's just not going well for them. But yeah, to Jacob's point, yeah, the bench was a little too. I kind of want to use the word excited, and it's just because I have this one play stuck in my mind of Ish Wainwright on a fast break, and he just tries to Kyrie Irving English muffin, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you have the arm.
Jock Landale got blocked 5 times in the second half, and it wasn't blocks. Like he was getting shoved to the ground, and it was like, oh my.
Kelly Oubre looked like Kelly Oubre looked like the bitter X last night, but I will say that he did look like the bitter X that kind of like looked like they were with a better person or something like that. Because I mean, it just felt like everything was just personal between him and Oubre for a minute. I mean, it was crazy. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And yeah, to echo like the Warriors' point, the whole West in general is crazy because like there's a situation where you could potentially have Nuggets and a healthy Pelican squad as the 8th seed, and then you can have the Mavs, or the Lakers, and then you can have like the Mavs and the Grizzlies in the first round. And then you already saw what the Kings and Clippers game was like with that freaking shootout. So it's like
I tell you, Franklin, though, honestly, if we run into the Pelicans and I could be jumping the gun, they don't scare me right now.
No, of course not. No.
They don't scare me, and it's not their fault.
Clippers,
but I mean, my God,
I think Clippers are.
Honestly, KD on the
Suns better in the 4 spot than they could at the top because I let me rephrase. I don't think there's a spot that is good. No matter where you are in the standings, you're going to be. All teams are pretty much equal in talent. Whether it's the Mavs, Warriors, Clippers, Suns, Kings, even the Timberwolves, Pelicans, while healthy. It really almost doesn't matter because you're going to be playing a team that's going to be right.
Just my man Jacob's having some Wi-Fi difficulties up there in the northern Arizona with the snowstorms. Just to rain on everybody's parade and everything everybody's been saying. To Jacob's point, the bench, everybody besides Aiden, Booker, and Durant shooting 10 for 36 is not going to get the job done in the playoffs. Only scoring 105 points is not going to get the job done in the playoffs. And we only scored 105 points against the Hornets. I don't know, man.
No Melo.
I get that. No, I understand.
I think you get caught up. I think a lot of people got caught up in the hype last night of just watching everything Durant was doing. But yeah, I looked up randomly while I'm writing, and it's in the 4th quarter, and it's not a whole lot of time left, and we're like at 90 points, and I'm like, against the Hornets with no Melo, that's doable.
Let me ask the Nuggets question to both of y'all. In the playoffs, you think 105 to 112 points get you a victory?
No.
Go ahead, Franco.
No, I don't. I think it gets you a game here or there. And if you're averaging that throughout the series, no. Because the best you got to think about, the best defense in the league is probably at least you're only scoring 102, and that's the best defense in the league, slowing the team down to 102. So if you're scoring 105 between 105 and 112, like
I think
you'll stay in games, but I don't know if you get a win every time.
Especially not in this West, man. You just talked about Franklin, the Kings and Clippers scoring 175, 176. I don't know, man. I love the excitement around the Suns. I love Devin Booker. I like Kevin Durant. But just I feel like it's too much gas going into the cloud more than it is actual precipitation.
No,
That's a very good.
I hear you. I hear you.
That's a very good. Yeah.
I think the Suns were really missing Terrence Ross yesterday as well off the bench because he was out. Not saying that like he's gonna be their saving grace, but I do believe that
You got
with Terrence
Shamet.
Ross and Shamit, yeah. I do believe though with Ross in the lineup, coming off the bench, he helps kind of keep it steady with his aggression to score and his he's not as efficient, but he can still like get timely buckets for you. And I think that was sorely missing with that second unit, especially with you're kind of relying a lot on TJ Warren to be that guy for you in that situation. And it just wasn't clicking yesterday. And and the certain points
And
of the game, like you
something
were saying.
to piggyback off
Yeah.
that is I heard Devin Booker say last night that he believes, Monty's plan is to have at least one of them on the floor at all times. It kind of helps the whole bench
Which is
draw,
smart.
yeah, I don't know if it completely like solidifies everything though, because
It
even if
doesn't.
you have, literally one of them, if you have a Booker or a Durant, if they're doing those kind of numbers against a playoff team, like it's growing the same in a playoff scenario, does it get the job done? Probably not. People are going to be targeting Durant, double teaming, trapping.
Yeah, so Booker
And
and Durant get taken out the game. You're relying on Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton.
oh, we're cooked.
That's what I'm saying, man.
That's my knee jerk reaction. We're cooked. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
depending on the team.
I feel like Terrence Ross is a big X factor for this season. That's just my opinion. I think he's really, really important.
Yeah.
From a scoring aspect outside of those guys.
He's your Lou Will, honestly.
For real.
This team. He's your Lou Will. I mean, you need him to come in, give those 15 points. Those 15 points are going to have the weight of the world come playoff time. Like, Damian Lee, Cameron Payne, if he stops chucking up hero ball threes. If we ever see Shaman again, I mean, supposed to see him tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't remember what the guy.
He's getting reevaluated. He went back to Phoenix. He's not ready yet.
See, I don't even remember what the guy looks like at this point.
How often is he gonna play when he does come back?
Yeah, that's the thing.
He's on the second. He's gonna be on the third unit of anything.
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough to get him on. I mean, maybe you can have. I mean, you either play him or you slide Ross to the 3 and take out Warren in the lineup. So,
but how crazy is that for Shannon? You got to think at one point earlier in this season, we were talking about him as like a heavy rotational guard.
Heavy
and now
you're
guy, coming back and you're literally fighting for a spot on this roster. I mean, I really don't, like you said, he's kind of like that third string guard now, because you got to fight Ross for those spots. You got to fight Cameron Payne for those spots. You're not going to get those spots over them. So, I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, it's tough. Another question, now that we kind of seen them for the first time, are we feeling good about Okogie as the it guy, going forward with them? Or
I'll say this real quick, and then Franklin or Jacob can take it over. The first game with Durant and Booker back is a bad game to assess because
too soon.
Who else did you think was going to get shots last night besides them two?
Oh yeah, Okogie didn't even. I mean, he wasn't remotely the normal that he normally does. But I think aside from him, you saw everybody else kind of doing their same things. They just kind of stunk at it this night. I don't necessarily hate the fact. Once again, I think all of us were vying for Okogie to get that 5th spot, so I think it's good. That bench, like everybody's saying, that bench just really has to come. I mean, benches literally win or lose you a playoff series. I mean, they just do. Making those, the worst thing that can happen is if Damian Lee goes into the playoffs and just bombs it from outside, because that's the whole reason they're depending on you is for your sharpshooting. Torrey Craig, all those guys. So I think it's a lot that has to happen in literally 19, 18 games for them to, get it together. They're on a 4-game road trip right now. Got the Bulls up next. I mean, they can put some stuff together And luckily, like everybody's been saying, Durant is luckily a guy that it doesn't take him long to figure out his teammates, figure out where they like to, get fed the ball or where he wants the ball. So they can do it. I mean, it's just the West is something ugly, man.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I just feel like we said, when it comes to like Okogi's play, like Roman said, I think it's kind of tough to kind of take anything from yesterday's first game. But I'm not worried. I'm not really worried too much about him. I'm very confident in how he's been for this season and what he's going to do moving forward. I just thought he just didn't have a good offensive performance. I thought he was terrific defensively, like he always is.
Oh
He
yeah,
picked up. He picked up. He picked up guys right as soon as they got up past half court. I thought he stayed in front of them really well. Thought he defended his tail off. What we're really asking for a Kogi and for a guy like Craig to do is hit your open shots when they're there, which Craig did last night, and attack the rim. As in terms of getting second chance offensive rebounds, which they have done really good at all season long. So
yeah,
I think with that, in a sense, like they'll be fine. You would like for Kogi to be better offensively, which I believe he will. There's going to be nights where he's not efficient and not, you know, good doing
yeah.
well. But I also think it comes with like territory of, okay, you need to get that rhythm together with those guys, which
Well, and
he
you got to
will.
think if
So,
it's Durant coming in last night, Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, and Torrey Craig. Torrey probably already, well, Josh Okogie. Okogie probably already knew coming in there, somebody's going to have to sacrifice their shots to get everybody going. It's
yeah,
probably more than likely going to be me. And
yeah,
like you said, he still did what he did on the defensive end. So I'm not mad with his performance last night. I think he had kind of understood the assignment of we got to get Durant going and we got to get him going now. Um, I kind of heard Eric Spoelstra say that about Kevin Love the other day when they said, "How do you feel?" Like you just kind of threw Kevin Love in there, and he was like, "Yeah, I mean, it's a couple games. We got a couple games left before it's playoff time. Like we don't have time to do the whole we'll throw him in here. See, no, it's like we got to get you in here. We got to get you going right now.
yeah.
Traded for Durant for a reason, so it's no point in wasting around with it. So I think the Kobe will be okay, though. I agree.
Yeah.
No,
I think
he'll be getting shots too. I think he'll be getting a lot of wide open looks, and you got Kevin Durant and Devin Booker um, competing for those looks, and that's why Devin Booker's going to benefit so much because you got all of a sudden Booker's been having that number one defender on him since he entered the league, and now he's got that number two defender. And Paul and Aiden are also going to get those top defenders, and I think Okogie, if he waits out that 3-point line, he'll get that open look every once in a while. He's just got to be able to capitalize on when he does have that open look.
Yeah, I think whoever the fifth starter is, man, their only job is to play defense, rebound, and knock down open shots to
Yep.
all of y'all's points.
Yeah.
We don't care if they drop 15, 12, or 6, as long as your man ain't scoring. And when you do get that open shot, you make the defense have to respect you out there.
Yep.
And just to bring it back to something y'all said in the beginning, I forgot to touch on it. I feel like they came out wanting to show Kevin Durant like it's not gonna all be on your shoulders. Like you don't have no pressure here. Just come be great. Come be you. We all can ball. We all gonna do our thing.
That's
We're
why I
2
love
years.
Monty Williams for saying that. I love
Yeah.
that he said that because that's exactly why he's here, for him to be himself. He does not need to be a leader. Does not need to prove that he has to be the guy that leads this team to a championship. No, I mean at the end of the day, fans are probably going to still see this as Book's team. There's no we don't need to make this like a big deal of he needs to.
Fans in Arizona will always see this as Devin Booker's
I mean,
team.
even
Yeah.
last night, like when you got hyped up watching Durant, and then when he sat, and then Book started just going crazy, it kind of not like in a downer way, but it kind of came back to you like, okay, this is still his this is still his show. I mean, granted, he's not going to give you a 30-piece every night.
Mhm.
It may be a night where he does the 23-piece and Durant does the 30 or 40-piece. I mean, that's the beauty is being able to have them interchange that, on any given night. So. I like what I saw. I like how Aiden is kind of staying consistent even through Durant, coming in because once again, if Durant is off one night or Booker is off one night, it automatically could turn into the Durant Aiden show or the Booker Aiden show. So I mean, I'm happy with it. Sky hooks galore. I'm
Yeah,
here for it.
I was just about to say that because that's
Shirt.
why I was laughing. I was like, "There's some shots Aiden was doing." I'm like, "Man, this dude thinks he's Durant right now, man."
He thinks he's
Like,
him.
it's like looking at him in practice or something. With the man,
Nah,
I was actually that was
the,
crazy.
I think that's another huge thing for this lineup. Aiden was looked at like you got to be the third guy, and now he can kind of just relax. There's going to be no pressure on Aiden if he can just grab boards and hit the little baby hook. And I don't think anybody the rest of this season at least is ever going to look at Aiden like you're the reason we lost or won that game.
Yep.
Yeah. I actually wrote about that before the Durant trade, and I even said I had to come down off my Aiden bashing. And I said, I think fans and everybody, media too, have to start accepting Aiden for who he is and what he does versus constantly nitpicking what he doesn't do. Because we'll be doing that, for the rest of his playing days. He is
Yeah.
a phenomenal lob catcher. He is a phenomenal mid range, a phenomenal post up. I mean, we have to look at what he can do versus always, oh, he doesn't defend well or he only dunks one time a seat. Like we can't, I mean, he is who he is, and I mean, who he is somebody that's consistently averaging a double double right now. And now you add that with Durant, Booker, and Chris Paul, and I mean, I like it, but much to what Rowan said, that bench has got to come together. Maybe they were starstruck or something last night. I know they've seen him already. Obviously, chatted, talked, hung out, but maybe they were just like starstruck seeing him on the court with the same jersey on or something. Like,
No, I feel that.
he's really on our team.
I got a hunch.
Oh.
Go ahead, Franklin.
Just quickly. I think Durant's efficiency is going to be the saving grace for this team because that's been sorely missing with this Suns team for years. And I'm even alluding this with Book. Book has never really been the most efficient. He's had efficient nights, but like over the course of a season, not as efficient. He's more of a volume scorer. I think that's how we get his. But Durant can get you like 30 on 16 shots, and it's and he can do that consistently every night, and that's a great thing
and
to have.
quietly.
And quietly.
Then
that goes to the DeAndre Ayton's point of like he can like calm down. It's like there's not a lot of pressure on him to like be this efficient monster in the. That's why we're so mad all the time when Book has an off night or when Mikal Bridges was here when he had an off night or Cam Johnson had an off night. We're always looking like, well, Aiden, you're a first round pick. What are you doing? You need to be efficient. You need to dunk. You need to do this, and it's like.
That's a good point. And I was actually going to message y'all last night watching the game, and I'm not trying to relive old heartbreaks, but how good would it be if we could have had Bridges on that court? If we could have somehow kept him out of that trade. I was watching it last night, and I couldn't help but wonder, like, oh, my God.
They're coming out of the West. They're coming out the West. I'm confident saying that. If they stay healthy, I'm like, yeah, nobody's beating them. Nobody's beating them in the West. If they still had Bridges.
You keep one of those two. I mean, preferably, I think maybe Bridges, just because of the experience, the defense, all that good stuff. Oh my God, man! Like I was sitting there, I'm like,
the amount of things Bridges would be learning from KD. Oh my goodness, because they have a similar, stature,
lankiness.
The style of play is kind of similar. I mean, obviously Bridges isn't as offensively talented. He's not. But, I mean, he does kind of shoot the mid-ranges in the same type of degree as Durant, and all that good. I mean, that would have been crazy, man. Oh, my God. And Bridges was starting to heat up right when we traded him. I mean, he's having 20-point nights and stuff. Oh, my God. I'm going to stop talking about it.
He's carrying the Nets right now, too. I mean, I'll look in and I'll be like, oof. It's either him or Cam. One of them's putting up.
Shoot, Cam had 33 last night.
Yeah.
It's last night.
It's gonna be wild.
I saw Crowder say something about the Nets when he said that they asked him was there a chance he would have stayed because we originally traded him there, and he was like, not a chance. You see all those dudes over there, they're just like me. And I'm like, yeah, you probably would not have had a fighting chance getting in over any of them at that point. So
Bally Sports just tweeted this out. Yesterday's game was the highest rated game in Phoenix sports history.
That wasn't on national TV.
Wow. And it wasn't on national TV.
That was probably the worst part of last night's game was that it was not on national TV. I went looking for it and I said, is this seriously just on League Pass?
They were banking it on on him being back for the Thunder game last week. That's why.
Yeah.
And but
That is
dang, that's
crazy.
crazy. That's
Valley
crazy.
Sports needed
That's-
that too because they just went bankrupt.
Yeah, they did. Durant saved them.
Maybe that's why they added it.
I mean, I'm gonna be
begging.
honest, man. This ain't got nothing to do with the Suns, but just what you said, like it's too many streaming devices, man. If I
Oh,
can pay for League
100%.
Pass, I'm not paying for Bally.
Yeah.
So is it
That's
safe
true.
to say this summer when we're all like outside, poolside, we're probably not going to get that email saying that Valley Sports is still going to be the sponsoring person for Phoenix home games anymore?
I mean, they sponsor everybody though. Like even down
Yeah,
here in
they're
New
all
Orleans.
over. I mean,
Yeah.
they're all over. But yeah, kind of like your point, Ron. There's so many different ways you can watch it now. I mean, League Pass and all that other stuff. People aren't. I mean, it's not a thing. So
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, man. Suns play the Bulls tomorrow, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Durant apparently historically has I wouldn't call it a personal vendetta, but he just does them all type of filthy. So having that day off today to kind of rest his, coming back from that MCL sprain. I'm not going to say he's going to go out there and have a 30, 40 point night, but he's probably going to cause havoc from every aspect, I would imagine. So,
Man, as much as we talk about it, I still just have this picture in my head of Durant dropping 45, Booker dropping 42, Ayton having a 16-16 game, and the Suns lose by 15 in the playoffs. I just can't get it out of my
that would
head.
be
What
like-
you're saying with the
I'll
Mavs.
predict that'll be like game 2
Yeah.
in the playoffs or something like that. That'll
Yeah,
happen
I'm with
every
Jacob.
game.
I'm with Jacob on that.
You're kind of seeing it with the Mavs. I mean, it's not like Luka
That's
and
true.
Kyrie are playing bad, but for the Suns, they do have more depth than the Mavs.
I would also argue the Mavs do not have a defensive player like a Kogi or even a Craig on their team right now. Maybe
Nah,
you
it's
can-
all
maybe
offensive.
It's more offense. Maybe you can
along-
argue Josh Green, who's a pretty good defender, but literally
The Western Conference slate of games tomorrow. I don't know if you guys have looked at it. You got Timberwolves, Pelicans, Warriors, Grizzlies, Nuggets, and Kings, Clippers all tomorrow night.
Kings Clippers again. Oh man,
Yeah. See,
That's
that's
always
all
good.
all eight teams in the Western Conference that are competing for a playoff spot playing at one time. And that sucks too. That's also gonna be a good one.
We're gonna literally be watching the play-in games more than we'll be looking at playoff positions come like the end of the season, because some teams that aren't gonna make it, you're really gonna be like, man, they really could have they could have been in there, they really could have been in there.
It's gonna go down to who's healthy. I mean, who can stay healthy? Because right now you're seeing it with the Pelicans. I mean,
that's
Yeah, man.
that's the only reason I said
That's-
they don't scare us, is just because and it's not their fault, but I mean, when you got your franchise player that doesn't play for a numerous amount of health
Yeah.
issues, whatever it may
Trouble,
be,
man.
it's hard to get on that footing. And I mean, they have chemistry, but you need more than chemistry when the playoffs come. You need availability. So you're not playing and you try to throw yourself into one of those playoff series against the Suns or the Grizzlies or the Nuggets. It's not going to look good for the Pelicans. And I hate that, because I honestly I do like them. I think they do have potential with Brandon Ingram and all those guys, but this isn't their year for sure. I mean, it's definitely not.
They were the number 1 seed when all of them were healthy, and that was without Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
So it's they're a really talented team. That's what I'm saying. If they somehow get the 8th seed and they're all healthy, and they play the Nuggets, that's going to go 6 games at most, in my opinion. I think that's going to be really tough get for the Nuggets, but we'll see. Like you said, Zion's always finding. There's always something going on with Zion's health, and
I said when they gave him that max deal, I said I would have not given him that max
No,
deal.
I wouldn't that either.
He's
really
face
good,
the social
but-
media backlash or whatever. I don't care. I'm watching this dude. I'm not giving him max money. When he's on the floor, he puts up max money stats, but that's when he's on the floor. I'm going to give you when you're on the floor money. I mean, It's
That's
hard
good.
to see.
That's a good saying. When you're on the
Yeah,
floor, money.
when you're on the floor, money. I mean, it's other guys that are more consistent. I mean, that are available. It's just it sucks to see. Honestly, I feel for him, but hey, everything's
I,
looking pretty good in Phoenix. So
I got into
roll with the
about
winners.
200 arguments over the last 3 seasons over Zion Williams. What's his name? I don't even know his man's name. Big Trash is what I call
New
him.
Orleans
Oh,
native.
Yeah. And I'm mad. In Nola, we trust. And I'm mad that we got this man on the team. We could have traded him when his hype was high, bro, and got so much back in return. It's kind of like just to jump sports, what the Mets did with Jacob deGrom. This man is hurt 140 games a season. We won't trade this man, even though he's considered the best pitcher in the world, to get back some prospects. And then in
he's
free
top three.
agency, he goes down to Dallas and plays for the Texas Rangers. It's like, bro, some GMs, they
I
just be
think a lot of
begging. And,
GMs are banking on, and it's the weirdest thing of, yeah, we know he may not play, but if he does, okay, well, we shouldn't be offering him.
yeah.
He's gonna play money. It's if he does play money. I mean, I don't understand that. I really don't.
Yeah, nah, I ain't even gonna say what I wanted to say about Zion just now. That boy be messing with these females out here a little too much, I think. But
Oh, well, you said it.
Right?
I was about to say it a little meaner than that, but yeah. That boy starting to dress like a local a little too much. I know he got one of these little job
Well,
things.
that's what they said about AD, and I don't think it's necessarily a knock on New Orleans. It's just that's the environment, that's the culture. It's kind of like being in Miami after a certain point. I think it was people like. I mean, that's just where you are. I forgot what team it was that played Utah in the playoffs, and they were like, we didn't want to get Utah because there's nothing to do at nighttime. It's kind of like once you get in that feel of wherever you are, you just kind of become a part of it. So
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
why I
know,
love
Rome.
Phoenix,
Maybe he's
man.
a
It's a nice
There's
city, but it shuts down pretty early. Like New Orleans is an all night, big,
all
easy.
night.
Don't even worry about working, bro. Go to
speaking
work
of
drunk.
speaking of females. Did you see the viral video of D Book saying hi to like a girl courtside before the game? Like there's like this like meme going on Twitter where it's like
When what game was it?
yesterday. Like he's
Oh, so
like,
he had a Jordan Poole moment.
yeah, exactly. That's what everybody
Oh,
was
okay.
saying on Twitter. It's
Like, oh,
like,
you all right? Gonna go crazy.
37.
That's why he pulled back that ISO that he did on Terry Rozier, and I was like, what is he doing? And he just went straight Mamba mode. Like I was like, Book is whipping out some moves I have not seen from him all season. Like it's either Durant or yeah, like you said, he had a Poole moment.
yeah,
So
it's the Durant factor. They're all excited. Like literally, honestly, for them, it might have felt like, I wouldn't say it's kind of messed up to say it felt like a scrimmage. I guarantee you it didn't, but it's like it almost felt like, holy, this is amazing. This is the first game, so they kind of went into it with like a let's have fun more than let's get this more like let's get this win for sure, but let's have fun while doing it. You know,
Yeah, it's like when
and so
Kansas plays Detroit Mercy as the first game of the season.
yeah.
But spring training is in full effect. I don't know if any of y'all have anything to say about the Diamondbacks. I have literally a whole page of stats, and I honestly,
Okay.
yeah,
it's too
Rome's not
early.
impressed.
I ain't gonna lie. It's the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's too early, bro, to even tell. I mean, if you look at these stats I'm about to read off, we gonna win the World Series.
I
I'm
mean,
serious.
pitching is question mark outside
Yeah,
of
but it's
Zach
spring
Gallen.
training.
I
Not
know
one
spring
pitcher
training,
has
spring
pitched more than only one pitcher
In,
has pitched more than
in
2 innings.
2001, they were horrible in spring training. I'll give them that.
It's spring training.
Yeah, you can't really go. I mean, you can, but spring
Everybody's
training
terrible in
is,
spring training.
yeah, it's literally what it is. It's spring training. You know?
Yeah, everybody's terrible in spring training.
I wasn't even
It's
gonna
always
read
going to be
these
a
stats.
7 to 8 game or a 12 to 9 game.
But you
So-
got the fastest man in baseball, Corbin Carroll, hitting
Yeah.
333, slugging 444 with an OPS of 844. You got
Is he the
Pavin Smith
fastest?
hitting 444. That's his nickname. You got Carson Kelly hitting 500, Josh Rojas hitting 429, Buddy Kennedy hitting 571, and then you have this list of team players hitting 333 so far. Alec Thomas, Gabriel Marino, the guy we just traded for, who also hit a home run in his debut. The other guy we traded for, Lourdes Guerriel, the veteran, hitting 333 with a home run. Seth Beer, everybody's favorite name, hitting 333. You got Emmanuel Rivera, who everybody was kind of shook when we traded for him on the deadline last season. But this guy is one of my favorite players. He's hitting 400 with a home run. Um, I think if we didn't pick up Longora, he would definitely be our third baseman. And even the young buck that everybody wants to get rid of, Perdomo, is hitting 286 with a home run. And yeah, pitching that started off slow. However, like I just said, only one pitcher has pitched more than 2 innings. No pitcher has found their groove. This is the first time a lot of these pitchers are pitching with a pitch clock. Our best pitcher is playing in the World Baseball Classic next week, not even here. Zach Gallen has yet to pitch. Bumgarner has yet to pitch. And we have a lot of young pitchers that I think have superstar talent, including Dre Jameson, Tommy Henry, Ryan Nelson, Brandon Pratt. I don't know how to say his name. All have superstar stuff, and it will be a amazingly fun season to watch this Diamondbacks team develop this year. And in the bullpen, believe it or not, we have one of the, in my opinion, best bullpens in the NL West, especially led by All-Star Joe Manaply. I don't know how to say his name either, honestly.
He's a beast, though. He's a beast too.
I think they'll benefit a lot too with that not having to play the Dodgers and Padres and the Giants in there 20 times a season. With the MLB and now just you're playing every team. That's gonna help them a lot. I mean, they were just getting pounded by the Dodgers and Padres last season, and they were close to 500. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'll say this. From the season before, the last season, they had a 25-game win jump, going from 54 wins to 75 wins. Torey Lovulo said, the manager, in an interview, to get to where we want to get, we need to get around the 93 win mark, which will probably have them second. It'll probably have them in the wild cards for sure. The Dodgers just lost one of their young guns who they literally traded all their superstars to bank on in Gavin Lux. Now they're short of a shortstop after losing Trey Turner in free agency. The Dodgers is old too, man. I'm not saying that they're gonna be trash, but it's definitely an open division this year in the NL West. The Giants have fallen off a cliff. The Rockies are the Rockies. The Padres are the Padres. As much talent as they bring, somehow they always find a way to blow it. I definitely think that the Arizona Diamondbacks go over their win total of 75.5 easily, and I definitely think that they will be a wild card team. I don't know if they'll make it through the first round or the wild card, but this lineup is amazing. If you look at last season from August to September, they had one of the best lineups. That's when they started calling up all these young bucks.
Yep.
Jake McCarthy, Corbin Carroll, Alec Thomas is getting into his own. Ketel Marte and Christian Walker is still manning the right side of the infield and running things at the plate. And we just traded for the best pitching prospect in baseball in Gabriel Moreno. And now we got some veterans to teach these young kids how to play baseball, and Evan Longoria and Lorius and Gabriel. I definitely am excited about Arizona Diamondbacks baseball. I'm glad that the owner or the GM, whoever made the decision, decided to bring manager Torey Lovulo back, who has the chemistry with these guys. He definitely is a laughing, smiling, get serious guy when it comes to Diamondbacks baseball. I think this is going to be a great year for Diamondbacks baseball, man. We haven't had a year like this since 2017, I think. Again, it's too early to tell anything so far. Most of these guys only had a few at-bats.
Couple things. One, I am impressed that you're able to name all these hard last names, but you couldn't get Zion Williamson just to save your life. But then number two is I absolutely agree with you in terms of like where the Diamondbacks are at. I think they're going to make really, really great strides here. I loved exactly what I saw from them to end the season when it came to bringing up Corbin Carroll and Jake McCarthy. I think Zach Gallen is going to be a Cy Young candidate. I am saying that right now. I am that confident in Zach Gallen. In my opinion, you won't see the best of Bumgarner unless you get to the playoffs. That guy turns into a whole nother beast. He hasn't been there in a while, but I'm telling you, playoff as a guy who grew up in the Bay Area, playoff Bumgarner is something special. It's almost like the greatest baseball player you ever see. So it's like. So I don't know. We'll see. I like the predictions. I had similar thoughts as the season was ending last year. I'm like, I feel like the Diamondbacks are going to be a sneaky threat that's going to be on the up and coming, and they're going to make a wild card team. And then after that, the sky's the limit for this ball club in terms of who they may get following off season from a superstar potentially. We'll see.
They already got him, man. I hate to say this. Their biggest problem and their biggest upside is their depth. That's why they were able to trade Dalton Varsho, who just hit 27 home runs in his rookie season, because they have elite outfielders coming up year after year. They still got Drew Jones, who was the second overall pick last season. Jordan Lawyer, who I think is going to be a phenomenal shortstop as he grows up into the major league system. I mean, this team is set for success over the next decade. It'll all just be gelling and putting it together.
Where do you see in terms of being World Series contenders? How far away do you think until that's like a possibility for them?
Honestly, I mean, it's baseball, man.
Yeah.
I think they can win this thing. Maybe not this year, but
the Phillies do it.
The next 2 or 3 seasons. All it takes is these young guns to really understand what it takes to win ball games. Don't swing for the fences every time. If you need to get on base, get on base. If you got to move the runner from second to third, move the runner from second to third. Baseball is about one-on-one opportunities as far as pitching and hitting, and it's also about sacrificing your own stats just to keep the bases moving. And I think that's stuff that young kids have to learn. So it's going to take them a season or 2 to realize, like, man, I'm swinging for the fence every time. I could probably raise my average from 286 to 294, help the team out even more, and hit 10 less home runs.
Yeah.
So I definitely think they can win. I don't even want to say this because it's so bold, and I'm the king of bold statements. I think this team can win 3 or 4 World Series by the 2030 if they get everything rolling. And they can have
dynasty. Oh dang!
I could see a 4 to 5 year stretch.
From that.
I could see a 4 to 5 year stretch where they're a Dodgers or Astros type team. And,
I was thinking with the way the young group is gelling and all the prospects I've been hearing about them, it kind of does give me Houston Astros vibes of how they were when they had their dark years. So that's actually a very compelling thing with the Diamondbacks. Yeah, and I also agree with just everything. Basically, as you're saying, maybe the little bold take with the 3 to 4 World Series. You never know. It is baseball. I mean, the Nationals won a World Series, and all of a sudden they're like one of the worst.
And the Nationals were 19-31 starting that season.
Yeah,
in 2019.
That's true.
There's been that one wild card team that goes on a run, so you never know what's going to happen.
Giants in 2014 was that team. Yep.
Phillies last season had a losing record the first 3 months of the season. The Braves in 2020, before they literally traded their whole outfield and brought in a whole new outfield at the trade deadline, who won the World Series over the
Jock
Astros.
Peterson was one of those guys.
Yeah, they brought in Jock. They brought in Profar from the Royals. Not Profar. Man, what's his name? Solar. They brought in Solar, Jock, and just turned that whole team around. That's really all it takes is momentum, man. If you hit August and you're rolling, there's nothing that can stop you, man. Look at the Mariners last season. Everybody thought it was over for them. They go on a 14-game winning streak going into the All-Star break, come out and make the playoffs for the first time in 22 years. Albeit, and this is some hating facts, they only made the playoffs because of the expanded playoff picture. Their draft
100%. Yeah. That definitely helped for sure.
But man, I don't know. I'm excited. If nobody has anything else to say, I'm gonna go on a 2-minute rant about college basketball.
No, man, the
Diamondbacks time of year.
I think the Diamondbacks
time of year.
Money, but it is March. It is March, bro. So take it away, man. Take it away.
I'm gonna say this for some local college basketball in Phoenix, Arizona. Arizona State hit a buzzer beater Saturday against Arizona University, which gave them the chance to keep their bracket hopes alive. 2 nights later, Baylor beat Oklahoma State, who at the time was the last team in. When they lost, Arizona State has now become the last team in. Arizona State has 2 more games against UCLA tonight and USC on Saturday. I don't even think they have to win these games. They just have to be competitive in these games. And going into the Pac-12 tournament next week as the 4 seed, they will get a bye week. All they need to do is not go one and done. If they could just win 1 game in the Pac-12 tournament, I think this team will be a lock to make it into the field of 68 as far as being a part of the bracket and the big tournament, which is a huge feat for this team after going on the slide they went on through February. The other team in Arizona down there in Tucson is currently locked into being a top 3 seed. We don't know if they're going to be a 2-line, a 3-line, or a 1-line. But they have a tough game tonight also against USC. Both teams are 13-5 in the Pac-12. So it's definitely an exciting time. 2 games left for most Pac-12 teams. Most of them playing tonight. and Saturday, and then the Pac-12 tournament starting on March 8th through 11th. And then, of course, as most people know, if you're a fan, bracket selection Sunday is next Sunday, March 12th. I'm excited about Arizona State Sun Devils. I think they have the talent if they can get in to rumble with anybody. They showed that last week, taking down the number 7 team in the nation on senior night out on the road in-state rivalry. So I definitely am looking forward to all things college basketball, especially with Arizona State and Arizona right now.
No, I would as a person that went to ASU, it'd be awesome to see ASU in it for the. I
Yeah,
really want them to be
for
in
sure.
it my last year at school, but that didn't happen. But it'd be nice for them to because they start off the season really really strong, and I was like, oh my god, that like the season they're having this year was what I was thinking they were gonna have last
Yeah.
year, and now here we are, and they might be making it. I don't know if they'll make it to no Sweet 16 or anything like that or Elite Eight, but I would love to see them at least get an upset here or there in the first round or so. So
I mean, they have a chance. They'll be going into the tournament as an 11 seed. They definitely have a chance to make some noise. They have the length on defense. They have the shooters on offense. It's really all about matchups, man, and
yeah,
intensity and guard play. And they have senior guard Frankie Collins, who is an absolute stud, if you ask me. If he's like Russell Westbrook in my head, he's not as good as Russell or athletic, but if he could just slow down a pace or two, he could really get in the groove of the game a little better. Um, but yeah, man, Arizona State played UCLA. I want to say 4 or 5, maybe 6 weeks ago on a Thursday night. If they would have won that game, they would have been tied for first in the Pac-12 conference. Instead, they go on a 5-game losing streak, and
yeah.
they have crawled their way back to the 4th seed right now. Um, they got UCLA again tonight and USC on Saturday, which is two tough, 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 tough games. They're actually, I think UCLA is favored by 11.5 on them tonight.
Wait, what happens if they lose both those games? What happens to like their chances? Does this like change or?
I'm gonna put it to you like this, and this is part my opinion, but I believe this in my heart. They lose by 20 tonight, they're out the tournament. If they keep this game even competitive, a 5 to 7 point game against the top team in the Pac-12, they will stay as the last team in. And if they just do the same thing against USC, if they could just stay the 4th seed, like I said, going into the Pac-12 tournament, I think the biggest thing for this team is to not be one and done. If they could just get one win in the Pac-12 tournament, they'll be in it. If they can get 2 wins next week in the Pac-12 tournament, I guarantee you this team will be in the field. They'll probably be in a play-in tournament, one of those Tuesday, Wednesday night games, playing for an 11th seed. I want to say it'll be against a team like Wisconsin or Michigan.
If I'm not mistaken, ASU that they did that like a few years back, right, where they were in the playing game and they had to win to get in.
Yeah. Kind of. I honestly, it's my least favorite part about the tournament.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
It does get 4 more teams a chance to get in the tournament, but if I gotta win a game just to get in the tournament, some people though like with the NFL playoffs, they say the bye week, the team that doesn't have a bye week has the momentum going into the Thursday game. But at the end of the day, by the time you get to the Saturday or Sunday game, you didn't play 3 games that week, and every game was high pressure, high energy.
Puts
A
a
lot
lot
more
of wear
tired
and
than
tear
just
on the body.
So yeah, it's very much wear and tear on the body. And but as opposed to that team, they're resting for like
Yeah.
they're fresh, you know. So
they ain't
it's
played a
tough.
game
It's
since.
different. It's different than it is in football as opposed to basketball.
No, honestly, man, that the one good thing is they can keep this 4th seed. They will have a first round bye in the Pac-12 tournament, but then they'll have to play 2-3 games in a row, and then backdoor and play 2 or 3 games in a row. So you're talking about 6 games in 2 weeks if they can keep advancing, maybe even 7 if they really. I mean, if they can win the Pac-12 tournament, they get the automatic bid. Who knows? They might even jump up to a 10 or 9 seed and not have to worry about the play-in. But I highly doubt that they can. Pac-12 is one of the toughest conferences this year in college basketball, man. 1 through 6 can win on any given night.
This March Madness is going to be wild.
I think the transfer portal, man, has opened it up to where it's no more favorites and anybody can win it. And I think this will be the most exciting March Madness ever. And I know I say bold stuff,
definitely.
but it is crazy the amount of talent that has been spread out. through these 68 teams.
I can't wait to see it.
No, man, honestly, that's all I give a hoot and hollering about. March Madness is my Christmas. It's my birthday. It's my Hanukkah. It's my July 4th. It's everything in one weekend, and I treat it as such. I've already taken the week off, and my friends are flying in. So feel the burn, baby. Another podcast. I feel like we could talk another hour if we wanted to, but
Hey,
I'm going to cut it short because it's dinner time for some people. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching. Always appreciate it. Every Thursday, we'll be coming live to you. Jacob Harden, Chris Denson, Franklin Miller III, and myself, Rowan Donaghy, presented by Burn City Sports.